Good afternoon and hello and kia ora. It's Kitty Fitton and this is Ordinary Life on Coast Access Radio 104.7 FM across Kapiti in Horowhenua. And I'm pleased to say that this week I'm feeling a lot chirpier. My dad told me that the last programme I recorded was quite depressing and far too long. I pointed out that, well, he's only my dad, so, hey, obviously nobody's going to be interested. So I'm pleased to tell you that I'm a lot happier and things are going to be on the up. But that's the way things go, right? And this week I've got a friend, a lovely lady I met at a wedding, and she's called Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Kitty.
Yeah. So, the whole truth is stranger than fiction thing. There I was at a wedding feeling a bit weird and Lisa was kneeling on a chair. And I was like, are you okay? And you told me that you had to kneel on a chair because you had some issues of your own. And then we started doing that thing that people do and we ended up swapping our entire life stories. So, Lisa... would you mind introducing yourself a little bit and saying a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Lisa, and I met Kitty at a wedding, and I was drawn to this incredibly vivacious woman in this purple silk dress. You looked amazing. So
thank you.
I was like, oh my God, who's that woman? I must talk to her. And kind of sidled around until you discovered me. Then they said, oh, you need to go out and stand in the grass. I'm like, oh God, here we go. How do I manage this one? So, I often end up kneeling or just sinking to the ground. So, that's me.
So why is that? Why do you end up having... Why can't you stand up? Yeah. Why can't you just stand up, Lisa?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. When you look absolutely normal and people think you're, like, strong and fine, because I do look absolutely normal, and I don't want to explain to people because it makes me feel pathetic, and I don't want to feel pathetic.
Oh, well, I don't think any of us are pathetic. I mean, I'm sat here kind of trying to keep my left arm from bubbling about because I've taken my meds. I'm fully loaded on drugs at the moment. Which means I'm now dealing with a bit of dyskinesia, which is
great.
Involuntary movements. And I've not had them before, and it makes me feel a bit strange.
I bet.
So, I mean, you said that you had, if I hope you don't mind me outing, you said that you had arthritis?
Yeah. Oh, it was a long story. Like, way back 2008, I started, just being absolutely shattered. I have 2 kids. They were about 13 and 16 at the time, single parent. And just like tired. I'd come home and sleep for 4 hours, and I was active, like cycle with my kids, walk. We'd go skiing. I was like, full on, do everything mum.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't. And then my feet hurt. They even hurt a tiny bit when I touched the floor when I was seated, and my bones felt like they were on fire, and I don't know what the hell was going on. You go to the doctor, and they're like, this classic,
it's your age.
Oh, perhaps you're depressed. I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. I'm in pain. And they're like, oh, we'll refer you to a rheumatologist, blah, blah, blah. So, 6 months later, I said, when will this happen? Oh, waiting list. So I ended up paying private rheumatologist.
It was difficult to get diagnosed?
It was quite difficult. So anyway, saw a rheumatologist, and he, was like, oh, it was your knee, wasn't it? No, mostly my feet. Bones are on fire. I'm tired all the time. I can't stand or sit, or everything hurts. Sheet over my feet hurt. And he was like, okay. And their standard is prednisone, then methotrexate, and they have a whole host of things. So I started on that and all the painkillers you can imagine, and nothing helped. And I seemed to have adverse reactions to many, many drugs, unfortunately. So nothing worked. A few years went by and I tried everything, and then he went, maybe it's not. And I was sick of all the meds by then, making me feel unwell.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, I'm out. So I just left it for a while and suffered along and couldn't do stuff. And then what happened? In that time period, I also had breast cancer. Didn't tell you that probably yet, but yeah, that turned up.
Wow, it's such a happy list of events, isn't it?
Just great fun. So 2015 that happened. So anyway, double mastectomy, great fun. I'm a positive person, as you can tell. All fun. And I thought in my weird little mind, like maybe the shock to my body would stop the chronic pain.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it would just like go away because, there was enough to deal with. But no.
It's amazing how much you find yourself putting up with, though, isn't it? It's interesting what you say about the breast cancer, because I was always told I am at a high risk of breast cancer. So I've been having mammograms since I was 37, and everyone's been like, "Oh yeah, you got to watch out for breast cancer. Got to watch out for breast cancer." And it's like, boom, here's Parkinson's, and you're like, that wasn't actually on the list of things I was supposed to look
psyched up for the other one.
Yeah, I was psyched up for breast cancer. I mean, it's okay. I don't actually want that. You can stay away. Thank you very much. Apparently, I have lumpy breasts.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
There you go.
So, anyway, yes.
But back to
that. Woke up from that 5.5-hour surgery, and they're like, I was in incredible pain, and they're like, what's going on? And I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. And so, where do you hurt? My feet.
They're like, we weren't expecting that.
That doesn't make sense. They're all freaking out and watching me overnight and pumping me with morphine. And I thought, what the hell is going on? So
morphine will do that to you.
Yeah, morphine. So anyway, that was that. And then I'm very scientific and very literal, and I hate being told perhaps you're depressed, it's in your head, all of that.
Menopause.
Yeah, menopause. It's all of that stuff I got told by multiple doctors. And the last one who said, if you're not going to take the antidepressants, what do you expect me to do for you? And I said to him, look, perhaps this would be a better way to ask this question, is to ask somebody, if you weren't in pain all the time, what would you be doing? And I would have said, I'd dance, I'd ski, I'd ride a bike, I'd walk, I'd, go
So you
back.
weren't somebody that just laid around on the sofa all the time. Yeah.
And if somebody's depressed, they're not going to be going, I want to do these things. And anyway, so I changed doctors again and had one who was really great. And I said, please start from scratch. And she was good for a while, tried lots of different things, sent me to the pain clinic. I've had every infusion you could possibly imagine, lignocaine infusions, prednisone infusions, every drug possible. And anyway, eventually she just said, I don't know what to do with you. It's a brain pain thing. And it doesn't make sense to me when they say that. I'm like, what do you mean? What does that mean? How can my brain cause pain? I don't understand, because I'm very, you've got to make sense to me.
Yep.
So I fought it for so long. And then I paid for my own ultrasound because nobody would. 1 foot. And she said, oh my God, you're full of inflammation. I'm like, yeah, I know. But that was a revelation. I'm like, okay, I'm full of fluid.
There is something.
There's something there. So then they started me down the rheumatology track again. And I went through years of every rheumatology drug under the sun until probably mid last year, where they again went, well, nothing's working, so maybe we don't have this.
You're like, oh no, we're going to start all this again.
But anyway, so what is the point of all this? I'm trying to be helpful here. This is not helpful.
It is helpful. No, because a lot of people, I think, go through stuff like this, and I did. I went through a really long period of being told it was all in my mind.
In your head.
It kind of is all in my mind, but not in the way that they thought.
I did medical hypnosis because I thought, okay, if this is in my head, just hypnotise me that I think I'm not in pain, and it'll, I tried everything. I did some really weird stuff, like medical hypnosis. Everything you could think of, I have done.
Yeah.
Like everything. And then last year I went to Australia for 9 weeks because I thought, oh, maybe the care's better. And I saw somebody there. And he explained it better to me. He said, your base of your brain is where your fight and flight is, and also where pain is stored. And he said, for some reason, some people, the fight and flight and the pain gets tangled up. And your brain is trying to protect you from something that isn't actually happening.
Yeah.
And it may have happened, like the year it started, my kid's dad died. So, you know, horrendous stress or years of being on high cortisol from being in a not great relationship, you know. Or you could have had a really bad flu and then it didn't switch off, or
so some kind of trigger that they can't actually pinpoint.
And he said, and I was like, yeah, but okay, if the fight and flight and the pain parts are all mixed up and confused and causing my brain to tell me I'm in pain, where does the inflammation come from? Because that's real. And he said, no, your brain can tell your body to make the inflammation. I was like, oh. Yeah,
because the body's really powerful. Like, it can do amazing things, and it can also do sucky things too.
So finally that made sense, and that was only last year. So I still am fighting that because I'm thinking, yeah, there's inflammation. How can my brain be doing that? I don't understand. But he did explain it, I think, quite well. So, yeah, I'm pretty good. Like, right now I'm at the best I've been in a very long time, mostly because the cocktail of meds I'm on right now has been the best that I could have managed to get.
That's good.
So having tried absolutely everything, I think around 2017 medicinal cannabis started being legal, and it has been legal a very long time. Most people don't realise that. And when it was first legal, I thought, well, maybe that'll help, and I did. I got CBD first from a private pain clinic guy. And then when THC became available, that too, because I couldn't sleep at night because I was in so much pain.
Gosh.
I'd have to wait until I was more tired than in pain.
Yeah.
And I'd have like a cold thing next to the bed because I did see a psychologist at the pain clinic.
I'll say, because, you know, some people, just being devil's advocate, some people would say, oh, but Lisa, why did you not just try relaxation techniques, and have you tried to adjust your diet? And have you, you say you were in pain, but you know, you could just, it's inflammation, so could you not just knock some ibuprofen?
Unfortunately, I'm allergic to all non-steroidal anti-inflammatories.
Well, that's convenient. That's just awkward,
isn't it?
Yeah.
The best thing they ever did for me was 1,000 milligrams of prednisone infusion for 3 days. 1,000 milligrams a day for 3 days, infusion, sit in hospital.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. And I had a month of no pain. I mean, half an hour of pain would be excellent, but I had a month. He said it might be 3 months, but it was a month. It was amazing. I climbed the hill near my house, and I was just, I was also a bit high on steroids.
So why could they not repeat that?
Apparently it reduces your bone density, so he won't do it again.
Oh, that's also not very good.
No.
But so how do you cope with it? I mean, you've clearly found something that works, at least kind of.
Yeah.
That gives you some semblance of a, let's all pretend to be normal life.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with it day to day?
I think, I did fight it for so long. Like, I'd get depressed, get angry, get depressed, get angry. And I think now I'm in okay, I know how to run life now. Like, I will always have a seat. I won't go I will know where I'm going. I won't ever organise things to go out very often. Like, if I do, I'd be like, I'm going here. If you'd like to come, I'll meet you there. And then if I'm exhausted or I can't do it, I can just say I'm going to go. I think feeling in control is super important. I now feel in control. I don't tell people usually. anymore because people don't get it.
Unless they stand there at weddings and
Yeah.
go, hey, if it helps, I've got Parkinson's
Yeah.
and I've got this and I've got that.
And why are you on your knees, you know?
Yeah.
But I keep it quiet. People don't get it. And so the CBD in the day, the THC gets me to sleep. The low-dose naltrexone they give for chronic fatigue as well helps me a lot. Like, I used to sleep all the time, now I don't. And bupropion is the new one. Apparently it's off-label to help people give up smoking.
Wow.
And it helps nerve pain and... Oh, it's also an antidepressant. So
you ended up with an antidepressant.
I did end up
after
one.
all.
Well, I would love to have taken one, but I had adverse reactions to them all.
Yeah, that's what put me off. And in the last episode, I talked about how they were trying to put me on antidepressants because I said I was a bit sad. And I was just like, no, I'm just a bit sad. I've had a lot of stuff to cope with, you know, and I can deal with that stuff. I don't need antidepressants. But yeah, sometimes I fear there's often quite keen to dispense them instead of saying, hey, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or let's find the underlying cause and reason why you have this issue.
Yeah, agree.
I think, you know, but that's...
I've had them thrown at me so many times, but I do understand now that there's a lot of antidepressants that also help people with chronic pain.
Yeah, they have their place.
Including the one I'm on now. And I was incredibly down early this year. For some reason, I think I got really hopeless about, oh my God, what's going to happen to me one day when I can't walk? And
But that's easy. That happens though as well, right? Because I've just gone through this most depressing period, and I kind of it wasn't very nice, shall I just say? And I kind of sat there and I was like, oh, it's like sometimes I can't walk to the end of the street and sometimes I can't do that, and what's going to happen when this happens? And then I thought, like Sunday morning, I woke up at 6:30 and I got out of bed and I went for a bike ride.
Yeah, amazing.
I didn't want to go for a bike ride. I went for a bike ride, and then I did it again on Monday morning, and I did it again this morning. And I feel a lot better for it. I feel so much better for it. I didn't feel better at 7:15 cycling up a hill in the cold, thinking this really hurts. But I cannot ignore the fact that it's really, really helped. I mean, I'm not saying going for a stiff bike ride would help everybody, but, you know.
Well, I did start swim, because I don't walk. The physio said to me that's not good for your brain because you're not doing that kind of movement. So I started aquajogging and discovered I can do that. Like, I can do that. It doesn't hurt. So I haven't done it for a while, but I was like 2-3 times a week aquajogging.
I've got a friend who does that. She said it's amazing.
Yeah. I think there's something about it, the water, that means you don't hurt.
You're flying in the water, though. It's like, wee, look at me.
So that was my thing. I managed to find a way to exercise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the CBD has helped hugely. I think it calms the central nervous system, because when you're in pain all the time, it's heightened, and then
that must be very difficult.
Yeah, well, I think what happens is you become hypersensitive to all pain, and I'd got that way, and this is just calms your central nervous system down, so I'm not reactive.
I mean, you get some people with Parkinson's get pain, and it varies so much from person to person, and I'm very lucky. I sometimes get some pain in my feet, but it's nothing like what you have described. And it generally, I can stretch or walk it off.
Right.
But yeah, when I first get up in the morning, I'll put my foot down, it's like, ow!
Yeah, I used to be like that. I'm really good at the moment, which is great. Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I used to, put feet on the floor and like, ow, ow, ow.
That's okay. That's kind of like, I met a woman once who said, she said, I wasn't as bad as you when I was diagnosed. I was like, gosh, you're cheery. I'm really glad I met you. Because you seem to have, well, obviously it's serious and it's awful and all the rest of it, but you do seem to have a very positive attitude, which I really, really liked.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, I think I've just come, now I'm okay. I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on the things I can do, not the things I can't do. I'm not going to tell people unnecessarily because people don't get it.
No.
I'll just make excuses at work for things like, when they go, oh, can you lift this table or carry that chair or whatever, I'll just like quietly move, go to the toilet or something. I don't want to explain myself anymore.
Is that because people were always full of helpful advice?
Yeah, that too, yeah. Old Auntie something's went on a keto diet and she was fine.
Yeah. Well, all you've got to do is have some of that Manuka honey and you'll be fine. Some of that and some turmeric in your tea and you'll be laughing, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. What do your kids think about it? Do they know? Are they sympathetic?
They are actually the best out of everybody. They're so good. Like... like if I try and go to the warehouse or something with one of my sons, he's always like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need to stop? Do you want to sit in the car and I'll get it?
Yeah.
They're just amazing. And I actually felt like I felt useless for quite some time because 13 to 16 this kicked in and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do with them. But and I did see a clinical psychologist and had EMDR, which is amazing, which kind of took that negativity very quickly and switched it, and I no longer think that because of this I'm a useless mum. That really did make
me to you.
Yeah. But they are amazing, my boys. They're just so good. They'll get up and do, and they'll help.
I know my children often say they kind of... It's not that they don't care, but they see it that it's just something I couldn't control. It's something I can't do anything about. But the fact that you keep going and you keep trying, I think, is for them the important thing, and it's an important lesson to teach them. And my daughter was very happy at school the other day because apparently there was a contest in health and they had to name drugs. And she said the person that named the most amount of drugs won the competition. I was like, oh, so how did you do? She went, well, everybody else was going meth and pee. And she said, and I was like, carbidopa, levodopa, cinnamon. And I was like, oh, yeah. She said, I could have kept going. I was like, Madapar Rapid.
I actually think it's made them better people. I think they're much more empathetic. To anyone who may be struggling.
Yeah.
I think it's turned them into, not that they're not nice people anyway, but I think it's helped them be better humans.
Yeah. Stanley had said, I think he'd been at school and somebody had said, what was it? Oh, they went, you cannot do this if you're under the influence of drugs. And he just went, oh, but my mum's always under the influence of drugs, otherwise she doesn't work. Just like, oh my word.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I like, yeah, it's okay. I've got their prescription. Oh yeah, they're funny, eh?
Yep.
They do make me laugh.
Yeah. And if I was trying to be helpful, which I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be helpful, I would say, and I know how hard it is when you are in pain and you feel really bad, to keep pushing. But I'm on my 10th GP.
Wow.
In quite a few years. But each time I got one of those responses like, oh, why don't you just take the antidepressants? Maybe you're depressed, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, you get down and then you've got to pick yourself up again and like, okay, I need hope here. And I'll switch GPs and go to another one. Please start again. And I feel like there's probably lots of people out there not diagnosed or incorrectly diagnosed because they think they can't push or they don't have the energy to push. And I think...
What would you say to them then?
I tell you, there's always hope. Like, I had got pretty hopeless a number of times, and there's always something else. There's more that somebody has to offer you to try.
So just keep trying.
Keep trying. I know it's really hard when you feel awful to do anything about it. I would say just keep trying. If the GP is not helping you, go to another one. Start again. Please start again. Figure out what's wrong with me.
And have you learned anything about yourself in all this? That's a good, deep question, isn't it? Well, I mean, you look deep inside, Lisa.
Oh, man. What have I learnt about myself?
Because I sometimes ask if people would give it up if they had the option. And it's interesting. Some people say yeah and some people say no.
Oh, God, yeah. I would give it up.
Yeah.
I'd be desperate. You give me a day in pain, I'd be a very happy person.
Mm-hmm.
A day
Without
out of pain, sorry.
Yeah.
What have I learnt? I think I've learnt that I'm valuable even if I can't move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good. I like that.
Because I did go through feeling I was of no value for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have friends who like me. And I can contribute, and you know.
I have to say, from the first moment I met you, I thought you were really good fun, and you made us laugh, and I just find you an incredibly interesting and funny woman.
Well, I honestly thought through all this, I'm boring, I can't dance anymore, I can't, I'm no fun, and blah blah blah. It's just not true.
No.
And so people can be immobile and still be loved, basically,
Oh, that's such a lovely sentiment. That's so nice.
Taken me a while to get to that, but yeah.
All right.
I'm worthy.
You are worthy. Well, I am absolutely delighted. Thank you so much for coming along and talking to me.
Thank you.
And I think it's been a difficult time for myself and recently, but it's been good to come out the other side. I've been writing about it on my blog at kiddyfitting.com and where you can also find all the back episodes of Ordinary Life. Do you have any message to anybody out there about invisible disability, or when you see somebody struggling, what's your advice?
Oh, I would, don't offer advice unless you're asked to.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, what can I do to help?
Yeah. Would you like any assistance?
Yeah.
Because they might, and they might not, because they'd be quite happy kneeling on that chair.
But please don't send me, information on anything.
I'll send you the information pack on the alternative medicine. Right. Thank you very much for coming along, Lisa. It's been an absolute delight to talk to you. And if anybody has any feedback or questions, comments, or you would like to come and talk to me, please contact Coast Access Radio or kittyfitting.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This program was made with assistance from New Zealand On Air for radio broadcast and through the accessmedia.org.nz website. Thank you, New Zealand On Air.